all of you, does everyone here know what kelp is? Yeah. Raise your hand if you do. So that's a lot of people.
That's more than usual.
That's definitely more than usual, yeah. Awesome, okay, cool. So does anyone know that you can farm kelp? That people actually like grow it as a crop for people to eat? Raise your hand if you knew that. You do? You knew, okay. We have some people that know, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit today about kelp farming, and the kind of kelp I'm talking about is not the stuff you're gonna see out there on the beach. It's not, where's our example? It's right over here. I'm not talking about this kind of kelp. You've probably seen this. Brooke is gonna talk about this a little bit later. What I'm gonna be talking about today from the farming aspect of kelp is sugar kelp, which looks a little bit like this. So they kind of look like lasagna fronds. They're like these big, thick, they're not leaves because they're not a plant, but this is essentially what they look like. And the process of how kelp farming works is quite interesting because we're growing a crop out in the ocean where it just grows naturally. We're not growing, a crop on land that would use pesticides or fertilizers. The way that kelp grows actually grows in harmony with the ocean. Humans don't have to do anything, no pesticides, no fertilizers, it just grows on its own. And basically how that works is you start here by grabbing a piece of kelp that's essentially pregnant. So this piece of kelp, you can see the spores right here. It's fertilized that darker area. What you do is you grab a spore and then you seed that onto twine, which is like a thin rope. That thin rope is wrapped around a PVC pipe, like you can kind of see right here. And it's placed in an aquarium, and it's just set there until it grows. So once that pipe with the seeds and the rope and the twine starts to get fuzzy, you have little baby kelps. And these kelp, they're so cute, they're fuzzy, they're cute, but at this point it's time to bring them out to the ocean. So essentially you take the PVC pipe, you take the twine, you bring it out to the ocean, and then you line, yes, you can see the buoys right here, so you're gonna kind of thread out the twine and hang it between the buoys on these bigger ropes. Yes, like this. Thank you, Brooke. and the kelp will just grow naturally on its own. And there are a lot of amazing things about this process. So first of all, I think what's really cool about kelp farming is that the animals are just left to thrive. So say we're gonna go grow a crop or create some kind of monocultured farm. You're gonna be kind of destroying animals' habitat or whatnot, but in the ocean, these animals are left to play in the kelp. They can use it as food, animals eat it, they can use it as shelter, they can use it as reproductive grounds. The animals are left to thrive and use it, which is really amazing. Also growing this kelp absorbs carbon, so essentially it does so many things. Brooke will get into this a little bit more, but it actually absorbs carbon 20 times more efficiently than plants. So we kind of look at this as a potential climate solution, or at least a part of a larger climate solution. That's where we're coming from. But yeah, so also these kelp farms are able to improve water quality. So what happens a lot of the time is that when agriculture has fertilizers or pesticides, these nutrients run off into the water. And the excess nitrogen and phosphorus can cause toxic algal blooms, which actually suck oxygen out of the water, creating an oceanic dead zone. Okay, this all sounds very scary. Kelp has this very, very unique and amazing ability to actually absorb excess nitrogen and phosphorus and use it to grow, turn it into biomass. So it actually helps prevent these toxic algae blooms and oceanic dead zones, which is pretty cool. So obviously you can tell there are so many benefits to these kelp farms, and because of that, at a lot of these farms, studies have reported increased numbers of marine life abundance and increased numbers of marine life biodiversity. And so what right now is we have a lot of studies that support this, but I think a really important point of all of this is that we do need more research, we need more studies done. Right now we have a variable, we have a lot of reports, for example, that support the fact that these kelp farms can reduce ocean acidification. but at the same time you need like a bunch of information in order for it to actually be labeled empirical evidence. So that's like just like a really important point to like take away. So what I'm talking about right now is just like from the very beginning studies of regenerative farming, like these are the insights we have so far, and obviously we're going to need like more funding and research in order to like find out like the extent and possibilities. But so far the research has been so promising and so exciting, and that's why we are just above and beyond excited about kelp. But yeah, okay, so Brooke, you want to talk about kelp forest?
Yes.
Sorry, really quick plug for 12 Tides. Okay, so we're a new startup. We launched just a few years ago. Just this year, we became the largest independent buyer of kelp in North America. So what that means, thank you, is like we are just like the #1 supporter of regenerative seaweed farms in North America, which is crazy. So we're just a few years old. You can tell our chips are made of 50% kelp because what we want to do is support these kelp farmers. We want to create jobs that promote environmentally friendly practices and get people out in like the ocean and connected with it. So we're really proud of that. And so far to date, we've sourced 750,000 pounds of regeneratively farmed kelp for our chips. So we're really, really proud. That's a new stat that we just got for this year of our whole lifetime. So that's our lifetime impact. All right, Brooke.
Okay, guys. Hi. So, I wonder, has anybody ever interacted with kelp other than the people who tried our chips today? Like seen it out swimming, maybe seen it on the beach? When you guys were doing your beach cleanup today, did anybody find like a giant pile of like stinky seaweed? No? Yes? Yes? Yeah, it's kind of gross, right? So I think that's what most people think of when they think of kelp, but it's actually from an incredibly important ecosystem that we have all across the coast of California. So one really, really cool thing about kelp forests is that it supports a really diverse group of marine species. Does anybody know and can raise their hand and tell me a type of animal that might live in a kelp forest?
Fish.
Yeah.
We got fish. Anybody in the back? I didn't hear that one. All right, yes, we got sharks, seals, we have even animals as big as gray whales. And the thing that all of these animals have in common is that they're very reliant on our kelp forests for reproductive grounds. They're there for food, they're there for safety, but we have a huge problem with our kelp forests off the coast of California. We've actually lost 90% of the population in the last 15 years. There's a few reasons for that, but one of the key ones is that we've had an overpopulation of these little guys down here. These are called purple sea urchins, and they actually eat kelp. So they crawl up and they eat the holdfast down here and end up actually destroying the kelp. One of the reasons we've had an overgrowth of these species is because we actually lost the keystone predator in their environment, which sounds really scary, but that's why we partner with Sea Trees and we donate 1% of our profits to actually help go and restore these kelp forests. So they go out into urchin culling, and we've actually restored, I think this is also a new stat, 50,000 square feet of kelp forests, and that's like for 3 years. That's a crazy amount of kelp forests, and we're so excited to bring back the native kelp forest as well as growing kelp up in Alaska as well. So a kelpier ocean is always for the best, and like Emmy mentioned, with all of the great benefits it has, we're just so excited to see an ocean that's full of kelp again. So, yay. All right.
Oh yes.
Yeah, here, let's switch.
Okay. Awesome. What did you want to do? I was gonna really quick have us talk about. Okay, who here knows what compostable means?
Compost.
Yeah, compost. Yep. Okay, cool. And how many of you guys know how bad plastic is for our ocean? Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here. Okay. Thank you so much, Brooke. She's gonna grab an example. So of course we made this kelp chip that's designed to help heal the ocean, and of course, we can't put it in plastic. That would totally ruin everything that we did. So here in the States, we didn't have any options, so we had to go all the way to Japan to create this industrially compostable packaging. And essentially what it's made out of is craft paper, wood pulp, and you'll see this little kind of tuft that almost looks like plastic zipper is made out of cornstarch. So it's made out of plants. This whole thing, the ink is soy-based ink totally organic. So over time, this will decompose into organic material that can help feed the earth, which is really cool. Some really important notes about that. So here in the States, these bags cannot compost in your backyard. They could, but it would take a very, very long time. They need to be sent to an industrially compost facility. I'm so sorry, it's all words there. Yeah, so they need to be sent to a facility in order to decompose in a timely manner. The problems with this in the States is that there isn't a lot of access to these facilities yet. In bigger cities, you can sign up for programs, trucks will come by and pick them up and bring them to the facility. But here in the States, we don't actually have that yet. So I just want to talk about a little bit about the pros and the cons about industrially compostable packaging. So the cons are that, number one, to get it to a facility can be a little bit hard. Number two, the breakdown time is like a little bit lengthy. It's not as quick as you'd want it to be. But the pros and the fact that we're stepping in the right direction is, number one, like, it is plastic free. So eventually it will break down into organic material. It's going to take a while, but it will break down. And then number two is the fact that we're not supporting the fossil fuel industry. So I don't know if you guys know about this, but a lot of plastic is made from petroleum and requires drilling into the earth and a bunch of bad things. So through our plant-based bags, we've been able to avert, can't remember the exact stat, but hundreds of thousands of pounds of plastic. So if we would have signed up to do that plastic deal,
would have been using lots of plastic.
Yeah, lots of plastic. So we've been able to divert that demand from plastic and sway that over to plant-based alternatives, which we're really, really proud of. And this year, we'll be coming out with a home compostable bag that you can compost in your backyard. It is only, thank you. It is. We're it has been a challenge. We're so happy. Yeah. Anyways, you can't really compost this in the backyard because of the cornstarch zipper. Takes a while but it's important to have the zipper for food waste. So on the bigger bag, that's why we have the zipper. But we'll be coming out with a smaller bag that is home compostable this year. So look out for it. And that is all.
Yeah. Thank you guys. If one person can be stoked about kelp, we'll be happy.
Yes, exactly. Okay, question. Anyone?
So how do we dispose of it? Does it go into recycle?
So not recycle. Right now, it would require reaching out to a composting facility near you. So quick Google search. I'm gonna let you know right now that in Orange County area, it's hard to find a facility, at least someone that'll come pick it up. It's potentially you could drop it off somewhere. But if you want to talk after this, I can help connect you with a composting facility. Yeah, if that's helpful. But otherwise, honestly, like, I hate to admit this, but right now it does, like, if you can't get it there, I wouldn't put it in recycling. Yeah.
Put it into the green,
Just into the
green
trash.
organic waste?
So in some facilities you can put it into in some cities you can put it into that specific green bin, but it depends on where you are in the composting program there. I know it's complicated. I know.
We're learning too.
It's and that's kind of like where the world is catching up. Like, we're getting there. Like, I think like these cities are having these composting programs where people will come to your house and pick up that package. But in a lot of places, especially in the middle of the U.S., don't have it yet. But that is the direction we're going, and we think it's one step better. And I think it's good. We think and believe it's going to be everywhere. Hopefully soon. Depends on demand from people.
Yep.
So, yes.
And what stores are you in?
Oh, thank you. So we just launched nationwide in Whole Foods, which is really exciting. And then we're in some mothers markets. We are in some Jimbos as well. But our biggest account where you can always find us will be Whole Foods Market. Okay.
So when it's harvested, what kind of damage does it do to that ecosystem? What is attached to it? What is feeding on it? And what have you when it's actually harvested? Can things, how when they catch fish, unfortunately, whales or sharks or dolphins can end up
Can you tell the story that our farmers just sent us over?
Do you want to tell them?
No, feel free.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, so we've been to these farms and pulled up the lines and harvested. So you pull up the line, and then like we see like a literal lump sucker fish come off, and then we toss it back in. But like honestly, like in terms, so okay, and also in Alaska, what happens is like they pull up the lines on the boat and they spray it with water,
So
just
everything
water.
that's
So
okay.
everything washes off. So when it comes up,
Okay.
it's clean, and if there's anything, they're on the boat, throw it back in the water. It was so cool seeing the lump sucker. But yeah, but like other than that, yeah, everything is meant to go back. I've never seen no nets, no poles, like just the rope where the kelp is attached is pulled up, and then you just slice it off. And if anything comes out, which is
Like
really rare.
mussels or anything like that.
So mussels are usually on the
Yeah.
floor.
We typically don't see calcifiers like that attached. Sorry.
We typically wouldn't see calcifiers like that attached to the kelp itself. There were, I forget the name of the fish. What was the fish that laid a whole bunch of spawn on the kelp? It was a herring. So in Alaska last year, there was like a herring spawn on the kelp forest, or sorry, on our regenerative farm kelp. And they ended up just having to wait until they attached until because you couldn't spray them off or anything. So they just waited to harvest until they had spawned. So yeah.
And luckily, like, yeah, with regenerative farming too, like it's required that you grow enough so that you leave some for the environment. And so, yeah, I think that's just like an important note as well. Like if animals, all of the kelp within the ocean is additive, but even when we take it out for harvest, there will be some left over that the animals can still, you know, have fun, play with, eat, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever they need.
Yeah.
So.
Are the sea stars coming back from the wasting disease that
You got it.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, yes. So are the sea stars coming back from sea star wasting disease and like the whole urchin, outbreak issue? That is a great question. I'm not totally sure, but I do know I have a ton of diving friends that have been out and spotting sunflower sea stars. You see them on social media. Everyone's freaking out. There's a lab, at least a couple of labs up north that we've partnered with that are like, they're literally like bringing them back, like captive breeding them back to life, which is like really cool to see. Yeah, those are some cool stuff.
Sorry. So is that the natural predator? Predator to the urchin. Okay.
Yes. So there's a few natural predators for urchins. One of them is the sunflower sea star, which, as you know from sea star wasting disease, we lost a pretty expansive chunk of their population. And the other predator is otters. And I can't remember the year that otters really haven't been in Southern California anymore, or really Central California. But since they've been missing, it's also, been a contributing factor to the urchins kind of taking over and creating these urchin barrens. But like we mentioned, the sunflower sea stars are on their way back, which is really, really great to hear. And I think the urchin culling and helping kelp regrow is really going to benefit that part of the environment. So.
Could you explain more what those things are?
Yes. Well, this is Brooke. So those are the purple sea urchins, and purple sea urchins eat kelp. And so what's been happening, essentially what happens, really quick overcap. So sea star wasting disease, as mentioned, most of the sea stars died. I think we had 98% we lost of the sunflower sea stars, which prey on the purple urchins. So these guys. So sunflower sea stars eat these guys. So now that we don't have sunflower sea stars, we have a bunch of purple urchins, and purple urchins are eating all of the kelp. And they eat it to the point where it's essentially just a dead zone. You can see right here, there's nothing but urchins, where once used to be a kelp forest where 1,000 species used to thrive. And a lot of these urchins are just, not to be dark, but they're like starving and barely alive. They're like zombies because they've eaten all the food, so they're just kind of hanging out. So that's where our partner comes in. They cull the urchins and the kelp grows back naturally. Yeah.
So what brought on this wasting disease? Is it a viral? What exactly is that?
So because of rising ocean temperatures, exactly, it just heightened the severity of the disease. Yeah.
So it's naturally found in the environment. It's a natural.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said that they're not plants, and so those are not leaves. So what do you call the fronds of its algae?
Blades. Yeah. I can't think of the word. Or fronds. Fronds
Yeah,
or
fronds
blades.
or
I think you call them
blades.
fronds as well. Yeah.
Maybe they don't need the separate. They could just have a bag and then have a clip.
Oh, a clip. Interesting. Like a metal clip or
Or
something.
not a whatever clip. They just
That's
clip.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Somebody
interesting.
keeps the clip with it.
Or you could beat me and eat the whole bag.
Just leave it out. Not worry about it.
It's such a big.
That's the thing about that.
Yeah.
Or some bags have like those, it's like a sticker, a long sticker
Yeah.
that's on the top, and as it rolls down, you roll down the sticker and you reattach it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a sticker could
interesting.
be made out of organic,
Yeah, cornstarch.
yeah, very easily.
That's a really good point.
That's interesting. A sticker. All right, I'm gonna bring. We're bringing this info
Yeah, we're
back.
taking
yeah,
notes.
Please,
We're
we
gonna bring
need
it
the
back.
help from the community. Yes, like all ideas. Cool. Does anyone wanna? So we have kelp chip bags. If anyone wants to ask one more question, we'll give you a bag of kelp chips.
Yeah.
Well,
Anybody?
I definitely want the bag of kelp. I want the cheese one.
You like the cheese ones?
What are the other ingredients in the kelp chips? You said the kelp's about 50%
Oh yeah, let's talk
of
about,
the-
I have another question about that.
Okay.
You can grab this bag. I can grab a different one as well.
Yeah. So 50% of the chip is made of kelp, and then it's mixed with cassava and tapioca flour, then seasoning and spices, and then just like a little tiny bit of avocado is sprayed on it, avocado oil, sorry, and then it's baked. And then in the oven it like pops into its crunchy little thing. Ta-da.
Different flavors of it. Yes.
We do, yes. We'll sample all these at lunch, so you guys can have them with your lunch. Yeah, we have sea
Sea
salt.
salt.
We have everything flavor, like everything but the bagel, kind of. We have chili pepper. We have a new one that's truffle. It's truffle and black pepper. And then we have like a cheddar, which is that's my favorite. Oh, so good. Vegan cheddar.
It was very tasty.
Yes, highly reviewed.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long ago?
You can have them for free.
How long ago did you develop this?
So Emmy has actually been. So Emmy's actually been with 12 Tides since pretty much the beginning here. She's been here longer.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brooke just started, but she's always loved kelp, and that's why she works for us. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? We're gonna sample all the flavors, and if you guys would like, we actually blanched some kelp. If you want to touch some real life kelp, if you want to get real weird with it, here it is. we will have
Is
it
it
up here.
different blanch than what you would find in the ocean? Because I mean, I'm from Washington State. I'm sure.
Oh, you see. Yeah, it's usually brown, but you'll see, like, if you look at this, it's green. So if you put kelp in, like, boiling water for 5 minutes, it'll turn bright green. It's, like, beautiful.
Yes.
So it's also beautiful natural, but it's also pretty when it's green. So I like to blanch it.
Yeah, it's like this
Yeah.
amber color when it's in the ocean, and then when you blanch it, it turns green. Like
Yeah. Which is kind of pretty to look at. You can feel it, slimy.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but
Yeah.
it's cool. All right. We'll come. We're passing this back and forth.
We'll come on by, and we're happy to answer any more questions. Oh, we have one more question back.
Where can I learn more?
That's my dad, you guys. He's very curious. He knows though. So we are on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, just at 12 Tides. We also have a ton of information on our website if you want to learn more about the ocean activism efforts we do. And feel free to come up and talk to us. We'd love to talk about kelp, obviously. So come on, talk to us if you're interested. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We're gonna go get ready to sample. So see you in a bit.